Okay, the unconventional process of drafting and cutting continues. I realized that my cloth was a little bit different in size than I previously thought. It's not 60 inches in width, it's 54, which honestly makes my life a little bit more difficult, but considering that I was going to make this ridiculously baggy, now it's just going to be a little bit less baggy. So, for everyone who's actually following along with my cloth sizes, uh, I mean the people with the cloth goodie bags that me and Kelly handed out earlier, you're going to have to really line this up very, very well because we have very limited sleeve place. So before you cut anything, always lay everything out, make sure you have enough material for the sleeve. So the final measurement I think I ended up with is it's 41 inches. There are actually two different, this is the back piece. I'm going to cut the back first and then I'm going to just cut off an extra little part that I have for the front. It's on the other side, drawn as a line. There. And I will be actually posting this modified pattern soon, as soon as I finish cutting this. Now, to lay out your, so this is an important lesson in why it's very important to actually make your pattern before cutting anything, because we are so tight on cloth here. It's actually really upsetting. Luckily, this also includes seam allowance, so you don't have to make it any wider than this. It'll be fine. So to actually place, look, I found my tape measure. To place your pattern onto your cloth, what you want to do is fold your cloth into fourths in a special way. You want to take this outside, and the hem should be at the sides. The cut part will be at top and bottom. So the hem will be at the sides, and you want to fold it to the middle. And it'll create this rectangle thing. It's a little hard to do with one hand. So you do that, and it basically creates this open part in the middle. So when you put your pattern down, you always put the straight line that's in the middle of your piece. So as you see, like, that's the sleeve over there. That's the middle. And since we're making it in one big part, you're not going to cut down this line, you're just going to leave that as it is right now. You will cut around the rest of this. So yeah, and again, make sure that your sleeve fits in the remainder of your material, and then you can just pin all of it down and cut it out. Okay, so when you have your pattern laid out, you want to get a bar of soap. The thinner the better. Now I know a lot of you are going to be thinking, ew, soap. But relax, it's soap. Like, there's nothing cleaner than this thing. And it also draws really nicely on fabric. And it'll wash off if you ever decide to wash your thing, and even then it's gonna rub off or be lost in the seams. Now we're gonna do this so you don't actually have to cut around your pattern. What you're going to do with this cloth, with this soap, is you're going to, let me switch hands here for a second. You're gonna take it, and you're going to trace as closely as you can. Trace the pieces that you have. Okay, as you see, it has been traced, so now you have the pattern on here of the back piece and one of the sleeves. Now, to prevent the material from slipping while I'm going to trace the other piece, because I am a sucker for tracing everything before I cut, just to make sure everything fits, I'm going to take pins. Now, if you're borrowing pins, don't forget to give someone a coin. It's just kind of a thing. And you're going to take your pins, and you want to pin both halves of the material together. You usually do this with two hands, but I mean, who needs two hands? Okay, the back is pinned. As you can see, there's a line of pins running around this entire thing. So now I'm going to draw the front. Now here I'm going to have something a little bit different, because rather than tracing this thing, I'm going to plot the point of this and the point of that and draw the curve on the cloth, because I was too lazy to cut out two whole paper patterns for both of them. I don't want to cut this off because I might want to use this pattern again. But considering that, again, this is being cut out as one big piece, it'll be symmetrical anyway, so as long as you don't make it a huge curve, it'll stay on you. Just point, point, curve. And for the rest, you just trace it the same way as you do. Again, lay out your sleeve before you do any of it, because if you have to sacrifice a little bit of length, that's okay, as long as the entire sleeve fits. Always try to line up the straight edges to straight edges of the cloth. Conserve space. So all the patterns are drawn. There is the back, a sleeve, and the front. Now I'm going to cut it out with these new shears I bought for like $3 at the thrift store. Hopefully they actually work well. So to repeat where we're actually cutting, you want to cut around this piece, but you're not cutting down this. No. However, you're going to cut around the entire sleeve here.